If you're building an engineering, town planning, surveying, or architecture consultancy and you constantly feel overwhelmed about how to grow, you're always guessing what to do next and you really don't feel like you've got a path forward to that next revenue level, today we're going to cover exactly how I would build a consultancy if I was starting again from scratch. Hi, my name's Josh and I spent 10 years as a director and shareholder of a 3 million engineering business, so we grew to a 30 million engineering, town planning, surveying, and architecture consultancy. And if you're looking to grow, this episode is going to make your whole life a lot easier. So today I'm going to walk you through how I would do it again if I was building consultancy from scratch. I'm going to walk you through how to go from 0 to 2 million, 2 to 5, and then 5 million to 10 million plus. So let's get into it. So big idea number one, or the first thing I want to talk to you about is like the 0 to 2 million piece. So this part is all about essentially getting out of your own way and building the first layers of your business. So in this section, I want to talk to you, I guess, exactly what I'd do to get a consultancy from nothing to 2 million, and why your first hire probably isn't the person that you think it's going to be. So context, like obviously at the start of your business, the journey, everything is on you, like sales, delivery, admin, finance, like you're wearing all the hats in the business, and that's normal. Like obviously as you're starting, you have to do everything. The problem isn't that. The problem is what you do about it in terms of as you grow. And so honestly, like as you're building your business from 0 to 20 to 40 to 60K months, when I think back on our journey, the first hire I would make wouldn't be technical. It'd be an admin person, like someone to actually take the emails, the scheduling, the invoicing, all of those admin-y things off your plate and buy back your time. Like to Dan Martell's concept of buy back your time, like the first thing you need to do is buy back that low value admin-y stuff to free up the bigger picture stuff for you as you grow. And this is true for any business at any stage, your time is the single biggest constraint on the whole business. And we want to free up that admin stuff so that you can focus on higher value, bigger picture things so that everything gets easier as you grow. The other thing I would do from 0 to 2 million is from day one, pick a niche. Pick a niche and run with it. Don't wait until you're a bigger business to specialize or to niche. It's a mindset shift. A lot of founders, when they're starting out, feel like they've got to be all things to all people, be a generalist, take on all the work that they possibly can. And that's an okay strategy to a certain point. But we want to pick a niche. We want to pick a niche, run with it. Don't wait till you begin to specialize. Like I know it feels like you're leaving money on the table by not being a generalist and all things to all people, but specialists grow more simply and more easily. And a niche in that specialty is what lets you grow fast. Speak to one type of client, solve one type of problem every single day of the week. So from there, you've hired admin, you're getting runs on the board, you've picked a niche, you're specializing. Then we want to start to hire technical people in the business. And that's a natural kind of progression. We don't want to, and I appreciate as you kind of grow, people are going to have to report to you from a technical point of view, but we don't want everyone reporting or sitting under you. We want to build the team in layers. So as you're roughly hitting like that 1 million kind of mark, everyone does report to you. You've got 5 or 6 people in the business. But that next sort of step from 1 to 2, we want to put some team leads in place or a team lead in place so that you're not the only decision maker in the business or you're not the only person responsible for delivery. So that kind of structure, admin, technical hires, putting in a team lead so that you've got someone else that's like taking care of delivery or a part of delivery, that's what gets you to that 2 million, run rate without you being flat out every single day. So if you're stuck under 2 mil, you're flat out, I just want you to ask yourself this: have I actually picked a niche? Have I actually freed up my time? Or am I still trying to be everything to everyone with every decision still running through me? All right, so the second thing I want to talk to you about is this. We've done 0 to 2 mil. You're now a 2 million business, congrats. 2 to 5. So if I was building a business from 2 to 5 million, this is all about like building out the structure, proper reporting in place, and building out the team that actually carries the business. So, you know, getting from 2 to 5, like 2 million business, you've got runs on the board, you've got clients, you've got a team, you're probably reasonably well established. But getting from 2 to 5 is honestly all about structure. It's not just about more people. So this is where like a really big unlock would be where we bring in an operations manager. So you bring in an operations manager into the business to essentially run the engine so that you're not the engine of the business. So bringing in an ops manager is a key unlock to go from 2 to 5. They take on all the operations of the business. 2 to 5 is also where we build out like a real leadership team with like team leaders. So the business has been led by more than just you. So you think about like as you go from 2 to 5, we want to have like probably multiple teams within the business, multiple team leaders. The team leaders can either report to the ops manager or they report to you. You get to choose. But we want to have like a proper structure in the business to go from 2 to 5 mil. The other thing here is with the niching piece, you've got to make a choice now. Do you stay in the same niche and just get more work in that particular niche? You've got to look at total addressable market for you and have a look at like all the clients out there. It's easier to stay in the same niche and simply win more work in that space. And so you would build out teams of people to deliver work in that same niche. Or you might be looking at like service diversification, risk diversification, and you might want to go, look, there's an opportunity from this niche to this niche, and you might start to build out a couple of different niches as you go from 2 to 5. And what's key with that is having team leaders in place that look after each of those different niches as well. So again, you're not the person driving that. You're making the decision to spearhead into another area of the industry, a different niche, but you want to have a team leader in place that's kind of looking after that. The other thing is reporting. Like I can't tell you how many businesses we work with in Boardroom that are a $5, $6 to $8 million business and they don't have proper reporting in place. So we want to, from this sort of, 0 to 2 is kind of messy and you're just figuring stuff out and you might be starting to get some reporting in place. 2 to 5, stuff will fall apart if you don't get proper dashboards in place. So dashboards around like invoicing, finance, team structure, team availability, all those sorts of things. We want to know because you've got to, your team's growing. We want to know exactly what's happening across the business, and you want to have your finger on the pulse at every single point in time, instead of you kind of guessing how things are going. So team structure, team leads, niche or separate niche, proper reporting in place, and then you just want to think of yourself as getting results through others. So actually handing functions out to people in the business rather than doing stuff yourself. So you think about marketing. Marketing's got to keep happening. Marketing is an obvious choice to get you out of in that sort of 2 to 5 mil range. So getting an external person in 20 hours a week to support you with marketing, you might bring it in-house, that's your decision. But you're starting to think like a true business owner and going, this journey from 2 to 5 is about results through others. How do I hand out functions as opposed to doing stuff myself? And your job and your mindset as the founder really changes here. You want to shift from doing the work to actually leading the people who do the work. So just to summarize, I guess the second part of this podcast, if you're sitting around that sort of 2 to 3 million mark and it just feels like everything depends on you, I want you just to kind of sit back and ask yourself this: have I got the structure? Have I got the reporting? And have I got the leadership team to carry this business from 2 to 5? Or am I still the engine in the business and am I still flying blind? All right, so the final piece, 5 to 10 mil plus. So this is exciting, but this is all about leadership. This is all about leverage and you thinking bigger and making bigger moves in the business. So like that, this sort of 5 to 10 mil kind of plus journey is like the top of the ladder that I want to discuss today. And here's what I would do if, again, I was building a consultancy from 5 million to 10 million and building the foundations to go on to 20. So getting past 5 mil is about real leadership in the business. Like you'll want to, we've got team leaders in place. We'll talk about this in a second in terms of structure and that sort of thing, but we've got an ops manager kind of looking after the operations. A big unlock from 5 to 10 million plus is a general manager in the business. So someone who honestly owns the entire day-to-day of the business so that you can finally work on the business, not in it. In terms of structure and reporting, like the GM reports up to you at the board level. If you've got multiple directors, the GM reports to all of you at the board, or it might just report to you. The GM then looks after or has the ops manager reporting to them. They have the admin team. So that could be like HR, finance, marketing, all that sort of stuff. That reports up to the GM. The GM even looks after like overseeing the delivery team in terms of utilization, that sort of thing. The GM will have the team leaders reporting to them. And this is just where like a proper leadership structure starts to really work. So you might You might build out like proper board advisory structure. We want to have genuine accountability in a business that isn't just you. This is where you start to bring things in-house, like an internal marketing manager. We might move HR internally, like a lot of things that you outsource or contracted when you were sort of 0 to 5, you might want to start to bring that in-house because you're building things for the future. So yeah, like I said, internal marketing person, HR, really building out the functions that you used to outsource, bringing them internally into the business. And I guess finally, like the move from 5 to 10 million plus is where we look at bigger picture stuff. So mergers and acquisitions, we start to look at new locations around the country. If you're in one state, do you want to get to another state? Do we want to bring in new service lines? Can we see like an opportunity to cross-pollinate from one service line to a new service line? And really diversifying where your revenue comes from. Okay, so this whole thing is here. Again, like it's a bit of a similar mentality from the 2 to 5, which is getting results through others. But the 5 to 10 million and to 20 million plus, this is about you building the team that's going to take you to that next level. So the platform to keep things going, going from 10 to 20 without you being the bottleneck. So again, you really want to be the orchestra conductor of the whole business and have every function of the business function without you. So wherever you are on this ladder, I want you to ask yourself, this question, which is like, am I building the leadership structure for the next level I'm growing into, or am I still running the business the way that I did kind of 2 levels ago? All right, so to make this kind of land, I want to tell you a bit of a client story about an incredible consultancy that we've been working with, 4 directors. We've been working with them for like the last 3 years. Armin, Haydn, John and James, and just how far they've come doing this exact thing that we've talked about today. So when we first started working together, 3-ish years ago, they were a business of around 3.5 to 4 million per year. Fast forward 3 years, they've just had their first ever $1 million month, and they're well on their way to 12 million per year in revenue. And so they've kind of lived and breathed this whole ladder that we've been talking about today in real life. And just by the way, incredible growth to go from 4 to 12 in 3 years, which is awesome. So how do they do it? So the big shift for these guys was getting the directors out of the day-to-day and out of the doing. So instead of 4 talented people buried in delivery, they stepped up into genuine director level roles, leading the business, not just working in it. Alongside that, like we built out like a real leadership team underneath them. So the business wasn't just resting on the 4 of them for every single decision. And then from there, they got sharp and they got dialed in. They focused on their niche. They went after high value work. Instead of taking on everything that they went away, they actually were turning away a fair bit of work. They just doubled down on their niche and focused on what they were good at. And so putting all that together, like directors leading instead of doing, a leadership team carrying the business, and a clear niche winning better work, they've gone from a 3.5 to 4 million business to a 12 million run rate in about 3 years. And if these guys can do it, there is absolutely no reason why you can't do it too. Right, so let's land this plane. There are 3 levels to go from 0 to 10 million plus, and each one has a different, job for you, and it requires a different version of you. So from 0 to 2 mil, pick your niche, free up your time and build your first, leadership layers. 2 to 5, we're really looking at like the structure, ops manager, proper reporting and building out the structure of your teams. And from 5 to 10 million plus is all about like the leadership, proper board level structure, bringing those functions in-house, and just making bigger moves and thinking bigger. And I guess overarchingly, always build for the level you're growing into, not for the one that you're in. And so if you'd like to learn more about running a more efficient, more profitable business, growing consistently, building a business that gives you a life that you actually want, please check out our 10 million plus consultancy roadmap training. So it's a step-by-step guide on how to grow to that next level, whether it's to 1 to 3 to 5 or 10 million plus, and build a business you can be genuinely proud of. So you'll find the link to that training just below this episode. So thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one.